Big ruling. I know you're tracking, Abijoy. Parents that wanted to make sure their kids could not read LGBTQ books in public schools. What was that ruling?
This is one of the rulings that's really closest to the United States Supreme Court in proximity because it's just over the border in Montgomery County, Maryland. And this is a case about parents in Montgomery County, Maryland who wanted to opt their children out of reading certain books that have to do with same-sex relationships. They believe those books were a violation of their First Amendment rights, so they sued the Montgomery County School District. And in a 6-3 decision, the High Court said these parents actually have a right to sue, and they have the authority or the ability to move forward in this legal process. They don't want to be able, or they want to be able to opt their children out of reading these types of books, these types of materials. When I was in court with this particular case, when I was listening to the arguments, there were two sides to this. Montgomery County, attorneys from Montgomery County, Maryland, they said that just being exposed to this information doesn't mean that your children are being indoctrinated. It just means that they're being taught different perspectives on life. Some of the liberal justices were really concerned about, where does this end? Could parents then possibly say, we don't want our children to learn about women working outside of the home. We don't want our children to learn about interracial relationships because it's against our personal beliefs. And the liberal justices, they really had concerns about what this case could mean in the future if the High Court allowed these parents to be able to opt their kids out of this particular type of instruction. They thought, the liberal justices thought, this could potentially be a slippery slope. But a majority of the justices, even during arguments, you could tell that they were wondering, why is it that Montgomery County Schools is one of the only districts that's not allowing students to be able to opt out of certain types of instruction? Many of these justices are very familiar with this area. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, for example, he is from this area, and he started to ask about different counties in the region and said, this county has allowed parents to opt out. Why is it that Montgomery County is not allowing these parents to opt out? So ultimately, what we have learned from the justices today in the 6-3 decision is that parents in Montgomery County, Maryland, and really across the country will be able to make a request that their children not be exposed to certain types of reading materials. And if they are, they now have the ability to sue those school districts so that their children will not have to be in those classes and being exposed to that type of material. One thing that I also wanted to point out that came out in arguments while this was being argued in front of the United States Supreme Court, these parents said they don't want to remove the books from schools altogether. They just do not want their children to be in the classrooms when these things are being taught to their kids and to students altogether. Patrick?
All right, Scripps News legal affairs correspondent Abijoy Burnett live in D.C. in our newsroom with the latest from the Supreme Court. We appreciate it.